everybody who's not actually watching right now, but I'm just doing this for archival purposes. I'm testing something out. I've been thinking maybe it'd be interesting to try doing live streams of some of my painting projects. So I figure, why not try it out here? So I'm just doing something simple right now. I talked about it in a video that as I'm recording. Yeah, see, normally I would cut the awkward stuff out of the live stream. Normally I would cut this kind of... See, I'm getting tripped up already. It's so weird how talking in front of a live stream camera just makes things so much harder. But anyway, it occurred to me as I'm doing this that Azalea here has not actually had a video gone... Her video has not gone up yet, and because her video hasn't gone up yet, this project probably doesn't make any sense to anybody who's watching this right now, or who will be watching this potentially. But basically, I wanted to do something simple, so I'm taking Ocular Max Azalea here, and I'm going to try to add a little paint in some of these little like rivets and stuff along the legs and arms, because you've got these metal pegs kind of sticking out there, and I don't really like the way that looks. So yeah, I'm going to just try making a quick live stream project of doing some touch-ups on Azalea here. For the materials used, it's weird how I'm really nervous doing this, but I don't care about like recording stuff. It's so strange. Anyway, materials I'm using, I've got Tamiya enamel thinner, and this, I basically am just using this because it comes in a gigantic container, so this will last me a while. I've got paper towel for cleaning off excess and cleaning brushes, got my brush, and for paints I've been using Testor's enamel, it doesn't really show the name anywhere, but I've been using Testor's enamel paints. So I've got a glossy white. I want to use the glossy white because I feel like that'll match the sort of sheen that the white on the figure has, because that's mostly metal. I've got flat gray, at least I think it's a flat gray. Pretty sure it's a flat gray for some of the gray joints, and pink for some of the pink joints. And, you know, I should probably get black. 1 second. I didn't plan this through well enough. Don't be like me. Okay, glossy black. Nobody's currently watching. It'll just be an awkward archive. And because these paints are kind of annoying, specifically the containers. The paints themselves are fine, but the jars are a pain in the butt. So I also have a pair of pliers to get the lids off, because some of these things are going to stick. So, with all of that out of the way, let's get started. I think I'm going to start with black, just because there are only the bits on the ankles here that I really have to worry about. There's really nothing else on this figure that's black that I gotta touch up. So, let's get started. In addition to this just kind of being a weird thing for me to try, another thing I was thinking, and I was talking about this on the Discord server, so if anyone watching is part of the Discord server, I'm not seeing comments right now if anyone's leaving comments, but if anyone watching is part of the Discord server, I talked about it there, where I was thinking it might be worthwhile to show off a little bit of my process with some of these customs, because I know I don't really do that with the Enhanced Edition videos. Okay, so this is why we brought the pliers. Yeah, there we go. These paints. Okay. Hopefully this has not formed a little skin like some of the other paints have. Alright, and it's going to get, that's a little goopy, but I think it'll be okay. So I'm just going to get a little bit of the paint on the brush, and then dab some right on that pin. Yeah, that seems to be working. black might be a little darker than the plastic or metal, but I think it's working. A little dab, and there we go. And now this one, I have to say, last year, I think, I'm pretty sure it was last year, Diana got me this light up magnifying glass thing that's mounted to my desk, and it has been so useful. I mean, my eyes are definitely not as great as they used to be. They're not terrible. I've actually gone most of my life, so far anyway, without actually needing glasses. My vision was usually pretty darn good. My parents were actually, especially my mom, she was super mad that I never had to wear glasses. So I think she was actually a little bit smug about it when when I had to wear glasses. But yeah, now that that's happening, the magnifier really helps. And now you can kind of see how those pins are a lot less visible. And that's basically what I'm going to be doing for the whole rest of the figure. But now that we've got the black taken care of, I'm just going to put the lid back on this because we are completely done with this color. So put that off there, and just going to clean this up. So, how are you all doing today? Even though there's no one here to actually comment. Leave a comment in the comments section, since this will be archived. How are you all? I know this is a weird thing for me to do, but why not try, you know? So basically now I just want to try and get most of that excess paint off, and I really didn't use that much, so I probably didn't need to use as much enamel thinner as I did. But there we go, and we are done with black. I think gray is the next color that's the least used, so let's do some gray. How about that? And let me check on the Discord server. Okay, not seeing anyone there. And, while I'm shaking this, let me see if I can get comments to pop up, in case there are any. Okay, I guess people just aren't leaving comments. Maybe that's why it's not popping up. That's okay. This is just really a test, proof of concept. More than anything, I wanted to check to make sure I could actually figure out a way to do the live stream and have an ability to actually see what's on camera, because I don't want to do this with the camera between me and the magnifying glass and the figure. So have it plugged into the computer, so I've got kind of like a second screen going here. There we go. And that's still pretty tight, but it's coming off. And there we go. Now this gray is not great. It's a bit runny, kind of hard to tell, but it's, yeah, this one has kind of a coating going on in there. I might have to clean that up later. But for the purposes of what I'm doing here, I think it'll be fine. So now that I've got those ankles, I'm going to try and do these bits on the foot. So just like before, get a little bit of that paint on the brush, though in this case it's more like gray water. I really need to go in there with a toothpick and like try and peel out that skin that's formed on the top. Anyway, just going to dab along the pin, and my goal is not to make it completely invisible, because that's not going to happen. There's no way. I don't have paints that would match well enough for that. But if I can get the gray in there, then while it may not be invisible, it'll certainly be much more difficult for the eye to notice, just like glancing at the figure. So that's kind of my ultimate goal here. I just want this to not stand out as much. And there we go. again, you can kind of see what I'm talking about here, where you know, the little divots are still there, but now that they're gray, they don't stand out as much as the bright silver ones. Yeah, I like how this is going. Actually, let me bring the camera closer so you can see doing the thing. So I feel like that's probably useful, right? Awkward as this may be. Okay. Bring this in so you can also see me with the brush there, and okay, now things are starting to get a little tricky because now there's wet paint on the feet, so I need to try and watch where I put my hands. But what I can do is come in and, boy, this is difficult to keep on camera. All right, let me reposition. Yeah. All right. Hopefully that's better. So this is super duper awkward. I'm not even sure if that's showing up for you all very well. Angle this a little bit differently. And yeah, maybe. All right, we'll go with that. So just have a little bit of that gray. Try not to get too sloppy with it, but I'm also not too worried about it because if stuff goes outside, I can just clean it off later. And that's the thing that I had to learn as I was kind of messing around with the customizing, is that you don't always have to worry about things being super clean when you first apply the paint, because you can use the geometry of the figure to your advantage. And for things like recessed details like these, if a little bit of paint goes on the outside, you just wait for it to dry a little bit, then you go in with the enamel thinner and you can just kind of gently clean up the excess. And that's something I'm sure we'll be seeing later on as this video progresses. Alright, so that is... no. I'm wrong. That is not it for the gray. There's actually the pins in the hips. I wanted to get those, that's right. So, move her arms out of the way here. And just pull that gun off. Okay. Need to slide the hips down, which is a little scary, but doable. And come on, there we go. Alright, that will give me better access to those pins. And we can do what we did for everything else to the hips here. Alright. Just dab that in there. Dab that in there. Now, one thing that's weird about doing a live stream is I have to be much more conscious of my language. You can't really tell from the regular videos that I put out, but I tend to swear a lot, so it's interesting to try and be super conscious of that on a live stream. It's not that I have any moral issue with swearing, because like I just said, I swear all the time, but I just kind of feel like, you know, this is supposed to be an all ages channel, so not something that I want to do on my channel specifically. Nothing against any of the channels that do swear. I don't think they're wrong for doing it or anything like that. It's just not something I want to do on this channel. I do it enough in my in my life, so don't necessarily need to bring that to the toy channel. And I think that will do it for the gray. Alright, now, the gray is noticeably darker than the gray plastic, but again, I think that'll help to just kind of disguise the pins a bit. That ankle is... oh boy. Do not like how floppy that ankle is. And now, we clean. As I was looking at the figure, I noticed that the insides of the knees have a black joint that I could probably touch up as well. like right in here. Right there, there's a pin, but it's it's so hidden behind the pink. I think I'm just gonna leave it. I don't think I need to bust out the black paint for that right now. Okay. Oh, going for 15 minutes already. I thought this was going to be a super quick project. You know, I think I'm just going to start on the white and then call it a day for the live streaming because, as I said at the beginning, this is just kind of a proof of concept experiment. And I'm glad it worked out because that means that in the future I could potentially do this more regularly. I think that'd be interesting. I don't know if it'd be interesting to any of you, but it could be fun. If nothing else, it would give me a video archive, an archived video rather, to point to be like, hey, if you want to see how I did this, check out this video. And that way I don't have to worry about spending hours and hours editing. Alright. Yeah, let's do the white now. So this one's going to take a lot of shaking because this thing has not been used in a while. You can tell by how separated it is. Hopefully it holds up. I think it's going okay. Yeah, okay. It seems to be mixing up pretty well. So getting there. Getting there slowly. I need to figure out what to do with those upper arms though, because that is a very light pink. And this will likely work for the darker pink sections, but I don't know about the light pink. I feel like maybe I'll just leave those pins as is. I don't know. Tough call. Alright, that should be enough shaking. And haha, I don't use this one enough, so that came off pretty easily. Good. I like that. And here we go with the... You have something you want to add, honey? Don't know if that came across on the video, on the camera's microphone, but Astrid jumped up onto the windowsill and she had some opinions about that. Alright. And now we do what we've been doing, which is dabbing the paint into those divots. And yeah, I think that's going to look really good. And there is a little bit of sloppy paint that I'm getting along the outsides here, which is kind of just how it's going to go, but also I kind of am sort of pseudo doing this on purpose just to illustrate what I'm talking about with like the idea of cleanup. So sometimes when I put paint down and it's in a recessed detail like that, if I can get to it soon enough, the paint will still be wet around those edges, and I can just use my cleaning paper towel to just wipe the excess off, so I don't even have to bother with the enamel thinner. And that has been a very handy thing that I've been doing with some of these painting projects. Sometimes, though, you can't get it off in time, so if it does dry and you get some paint that's kind of stuck there, that's when I can go in with the enamel thinner and clean it up after the fact. But for this, I think it's such a quick little application and all of that. I don't think it's a problem. Okay, Astrid is being very, very vocal today. Don't know if y'all can hear that, but she's, I think she's upset that I'm not paying attention to her. It's my day off from work. One of my days off from work. I actually have a 4-day weekend. But, yeah, I think she's upset that I'm spending time with the toys and not with her. She tends to get much more upset at me for not paying attention to her when I'm doing stuff with my toys, whether it's recording videos or taking photos or just rearranging the shelves. Actually, she hates it when I rearrange the shelves. If I'm on the floor for like the lower shelves, pulling stuff off, putting stuff back on, she'll actually curl up in my lap and just kind of give me this look like, no, you pay attention to me now, Dad. It's very cute. She is a very demanding kitty. And I love her for it. Alright, I think that's good for this leg. It's so hard to tell. I think I got the, maybe not. I think I might need to go in and dress some of this a little bit more, because I think my angles were a bit off. I didn't get as much paint into these holes as I wanted to. Okay, that looks a little better. It's a process. Probably not a particularly exciting one to watch, but it is a process. And I should probably, at the very least, I should probably do this bit in the front of the hip too, right? Because that is pretty prominent on the front of the figure. So, let us dab in there. And I think, there we go. I definitely got some where I didn't want to get it, but that's fine. This is also why I wanted to use a glossy white, because I figured if it did go off, or rather if I did go outside of the lines, it wouldn't be as noticeable, because it should more or less match the look of the metal and plastic. So not too worried about it. Definitely gonna have to be more mindful when I move on to that pink though. Alright. That is one leg of Ocular Max's Azalea Alternative. All done with the white paint to make those little rivet holes a little bit less noticeable. I mean, they are still very much there, but they're less noticeable, I think, with the white instead of the silver for the pins. So, yeah, not exactly a perfect fix, but I think it works. So thank you for everybody who stopped in to watch me ramble about this project for about 20 minutes. And thank you for everyone who might be watching this right now in the archive. Hi. You want to say hi? You want to say hi before I sign off completely, honey? Oh, careful. Oh, yeah. Oh, there she is. There, you can barely see her. Yeah, this is... She's very mad that I've been doing this and not paying attention to her. Oh, okay, hi. But anyway, thank you for watching, in the event that you are watching. And I'm going to finish this up off camera, because I think this experiment worked out pretty well, all things considered.